What day is it?
It's Hump Day. Oh my God!
It's Hump Day!
Always quick with a line and a laugh. Who would have thought all of that talent could have been born into one baby boy? On June 13th, 1946, Lawrence Himmel said hello to Chicago, Illinois. As a child, Larry loved to dance and write love letters to his mother. He was an only child from a divorced home. Larry says he starved for attention. So after graduating from high school in Chicago and Bradley University with a master's degree in speech, Larry found a career that paid him to perform.
It has been so long since I've been in the studio that I'm looking around for the LPs and the turntables.
Always comfortable in front of a microphone, Larry learned the early gift of gab in Midwest radio. At one stop, his on-air handle was Lou at WRBU. In the 70s, Larry made the move west to California comedy clubs, and one night went head-to-head in a comedy competition with a young Robin Williams.
I just kind of slinked out of the club that night and I never knew if I'm sure I didn't win that night.
For years, he dabbled on the comedy circuit with the likes of Letterman.
Good to see you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
You're kicking tail in San Diego, and we're happy to see you.
Well, it's a pleasure.
It was at the Comedy Store in La Jolla where Jim Holtzman, the former Channel 8 news director, discovered Larry and thought,
where do these ideas come from? It's unbelievable.
After a week of wedlock,
Larry had that something special, so Holtzman hired Himmel in 1979.
He had not only this interesting way of looking at life and looking at the world around him, but a unique ability to connect with people.
Day at the DMV starring you.
He was them, they were him.
See, your picture always turns out ugly.
Holtzman decided to give Larry a long leash. In 1985, his stand-up routine blossomed into the show he may be most famous for, San Diego at Large.
It's going to be hard to tell what'll do more damage, a nuclear explosion or a Roberto's combination plate.
Playing Biff and Skippy, Larry had the humility to make himself the butt of his own jokes. Former San Diego Charger Hank Bauer remembers the first time Larry made him laugh.
I see this show called Biff and Skippy, and I'm seeing these two knuckleheads, and I go, welcome to San Diego, and if this is San Diego, I like this place.
School fashions have changed, and
San Diegans liked Larry, a man who possessed a rare combination of creativity and work ethic. The funny man with the ever-changing hairstyles cranked out half-hour comedy shows 5 days a week for years with just a staff of 10.
And here was a guy who would be shooting one segment while thinking about and writing another segment. To the point where today we're doing this, tomorrow we're going to do that, a week from today we're going to do this, and it was just never ending.
Oh my.
And that's what's happening. Now back to the sensational Jill Went on Chili.
One of Larry's silly sidekicks was Cookie Chainsaw Randolph, who has turned in a Hall of Fame radio career himself. Yet, Cookie's not too proud to admit that in 1987, the first time he met Larry in person,
I was completely starstruck, and I was debating whether or not to go up and make a fool out of myself, tell him how great he was and how much I loved his show, but he turned to me and said, Chainsaw, you're the man I want to see. I want to invite you to be on the Eyewitness News parody and be the sportscaster.
Good night.
Larry was never afraid to share the spotlight.
the worst thing is when people say to you, you're a lot better looking in person.
Or stop to take a picture with his fans. But even more important was the person he was when the camera wasn't rolling.
Well, the great thing about Larry is, for the viewers, is he is the guy that you see on TV. He's that guy. The nicest guy in the world.
You did good, you got one, huh?
Generous, asking about you first.
I could use all the hair I could get after this bad haircut,
That is really Larry.
And there's this old Irish trainer.
His genuine nature opened doors, and when the animal sanctuary, lions, tigers, and bears opened their doors in Alpine, the founder, Bobby Brink, only talked to Larry.
You can't tell Larry no. He's just sweet, and you can trust him, and he's honest, and with Larry, what you see is what you get. And he's funny. He's really funny.
Larry loved the animals so much, he brought his wife Joan and son Miles back to the ranch over and over.
I just hope the family still feels their family here and they keep coming out here. And I hope so.
Some of you may remember my mom.
Larry's love for reporting often collided with his love for family.
My wife's gonna kill me.
From the day he married Joan
There we go.
to when he first held his son Miles,
Getting baby instructions.
he let the viewers tag along.
Miles, how you doing?
While Larry was having a ball at work,
Are you a Cub fan, Miles? You are?
so was his growing son.
Run to first. But this is what is left of my home.
Yet many of his memories, both in pictures and on videotape, burned in 2007
Every house on this hill.
when Larry became the center of his own story, the day his own home burned down in front of his eyes.
The living room over there, there was a porch.
I will never forget you at the fire.
For years,
Thank you.
strangers stopped Larry to tell him how his strength helped save San Diego.
You were like a man of like valor and honor, standing there and just continuing to do what you were called to do and deliver the news in the middle of that chaos. And I got to tell you, it was very impactful.
Well, I appreciate it, and I got a lot of support from people like you, strangers who reached out to us, and
We were all praying for you, brother.
well, I know, I felt it. I felt it. I wouldn't have got through it without it.
Rendering this 40,000.
Larry built a new home and filled it with what mattered most, and then he went right back to work.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
To my sweetheart.
Larry always had a nose for a good story, and he followed it to Sister Pee Wee's soul food.
What's whiter, that rice or me?
For 30 years,
You would need more.
their friendship flourished.
What Larry meant to me, I can't describe it. I can't express it because he was so great and he meant so much to me.
Larry made a new friend every day, and
Are you ready for ice cream?
some were as famous as they come.
Something in my eyes.
A few nights before Jim Croce died in 1973, he lounged at Larry's pad in Ocean Beach.
It was one of those nights you don't ever forget. It was a very, very vivid memory.
Croce's wife, Ingrid, says after Jim passed away, Larry was always there for her and her son, AJ.
Larry will help you out when you need it. And that's the thing about Larry that I most appreciate, you know. Beside the laughs, beside the storytelling, you know, he would always be there when you needed him.
Larry's love for music ran deep. Jerry Rainey from the Beat Farmer says the two were mutual fans and friends.
I love watching him on TV. I love hanging out with him. He always, you know, makes me happy. You know, I think he makes everybody happy.
That joy for life helped Larry fall in love with a news story every day.
Larry was never short of enthusiasm for anything.
That included his love for eating at obscure San Diego restaurants with his 40-year friend, longtime news anchor Marty Levine.
Just being with him in those places, everybody wanted to talk to him. I'd been on television here for a while, but everyone wanted to talk to him. And I don't think I ever met anybody who didn't like him.
They're sitting in the dugout.
Levine says Larry loved the Padres, the Cubs, and horse racing. The two even bought a pony that ran in one Caliente race, finished first, then mysteriously disappeared.
I think we each made about $3.
Hello there.
Hello. See what I mean?
Nice looking statue you've got there.
Everything Larry touched turned to gold.
I'll never flaunt the fact that I won an
Harry, give me a price check on this cheap-looking statue.
I'm really gonna miss
At Channel 8, the chameleon of cool evolved into the do-it-all go-to guy for sports, weather, and anything else the station asked him to do.
We have Charger fans in the house.
Which included traveling with the Chargers on road games for years.
'Twas the night before Christmas here at News 8, and the mood was joyous because the ratings were great.
And finding the perfect poem
Spiking the eggnog.
to put San Diegans into the holiday mood, no matter the season.
It was like, you want somebody who's a professional? You ask Larry, and he could get it done. Did he complain? No.
A young person will.
In this business, don't try to be anything other than who you are first and foremost.
Well, I'll have the iPhone.
There's no greater example than Larry Himmel.
You could also use this as a fishing lure.
What you see on screen,
Husong's Cantina.
that's exactly who he is off camera.
San Diego's first television station.
For 65 years, Channel 8 has delivered your news. And for 35 of them, those hard headlines were softened with Larry's laughter.
He not only put the smiles on your face, but he put them forever in your heart. And it's something that you appreciate, and it's something that you don't take for granted.
Your job is to make sure this man looks perfect every time.
Although Larry was contemplating retirement,
Following the most famous footsteps in rock and roll history.
cancer had other ideas. It's a loss his colleagues are grieving. And if you're sad too,
For the first time on television, a jackass riding a horse.
believe me, that Chicago kid who spent a lifetime joking around
Join me and Larry Himmel.
would beg you to smile one last time for him.
He just meant so much to people because of who he was. He cared.
A rescued bear, huh?
A rescued bear.
He was real.
25 years.
He was so decent
Oh, man.
that there's just no way to get past that.
When I think of Larry Himmel, I will always have a smile on my face because he gave me many, many, many smiles.
I'm here going bald, and he's here shedding his hair.
Everybody liked Larry,
You're a character.
and if you knew Larry, you loved Larry, and he'll be remembered here for those things, and those are the things you want to be remembered for. We should all be as talented, and we should all be as fortunate.
I predict this year that if we're all just a little bit kinder, slightly more tolerant, and just a bit more patient, that this just might be the best year ever. Larry Himmel, News 8.